Hi, my YouTube family. Welcome on set today. The topic of today is how to get away with murder. It's in line with my new segment, My Truth, which is based on gender-based violence. Welcome on set. We'll start with the first statement. And the first statement is staging insanity. As we said, how to get away with murder. So staging insanity in the union of marriage. I will start with a brief story of how it happens or how it works. So at some point, my ex-husband, I was called from my office. My office used to be in Westlands, so I was called to go rush him to the hospital, which I did. And when I found him in his office, he had vomited red, not blood, red. But then I was being told it's blood. So when I rushed him to Aga Khan Hospital, they ran tests immediately. Of course, the first suspicion was either poisoning or something from wherever he had gone, taking whatever he had gone to take. So by the time they checked him up, there was no poisoning. Actually, they ruled out it was just intoxication. It was alcohol. So I think he had taken a fruit punch and it was alcoholic. So the substance that he had vomited, it's actually now the fruit punch, which was red. So from there, they just, I don't know what drip they gave him for water or glucose to give him time for that alcohol to just subside in his bloodstream. Then I can take him home. But immediately we got a phone call and I was told by the sister to rush him to Nairobi Hospital, so which we did. So him being put, I think it was an ambulance, and then we took him to Nairobi Hospital. Immediately he was admitted in an insanity ward. That was the first time to see one, which was all white. It was puffy in a way that even if you fall, you cannot injure yourself. So I got curious because initially I thought he's being taken to a normal ward, as I have lived to know. This was the first time to even know that hospitals do have such rooms for mentally ill patients. So I went and inquired. One of the assigned nurses, I asked her, why did you decide to put my husband in this room? And then she told me it was orders from above. When he was brought in, this was the room that was requested for him to be assigned in. And I was like, but he doesn't have any mental case, a mental issue. And actually, when I was getting him from Aga Khan, they had already confirmed he didn't suffer any poisoning or anything. It was just alcohol. He was just drunk. So when I had these orders from above, I knew what was actually now happening with the authority of the sister. So the man stayed in that hospital for 5 days. But for me, when I left him that evening, of course, I could not sleep because I started wondering what is going on. And remember, I'm in this space where already death attempts have started. Yeah, and so many things are happening now, which had made me become a bit alert in everything that is being done. So a friend of mine, we were just having a discussion with a friend of mine on phone, and she was just following up on what happened because I had mentioned to her I've rushed to take my husband to hospital. So I explained to her what was going on, and she told me, Catherine, do you know legally what that means? Remember the death attempts, yes. Now, if this man was to come back and kill you, he cannot be jailed. There is nothing, no court system can work for you. So if you are killed, let me just use the words she said. She told me that you will just disappear like a chicken. You know the way you slaughter a chicken and it's eaten and it's normal. So life goes on. So this is what, okay, this time that was news to me because I had never had anything of the sort. I didn't know much about the laws, but that was the first time now I knew that you can easily get away with murder by just staging insanity, you know. So that is the first time now I came across that. And when he got out of the hospital, I was a bit quiet and furious and really keeping away now. But for me to protect myself, I made a funny phone call. I actually don't remember I called somebody, but I pretended I was calling somebody. And I was explaining on the phone pretending that he's not hearing, but I wanted him to hear that now it was like we are engaging in a conversation and saying that, I have just learned that when you have a medical report in line with insanity, even if you kill somebody, you'll just walk free. And I wanted him to hear that I already know that. So after I knew that he had what I exactly said, I now rested easy. And remember, I'm on phone talking to somebody, of which I remember him later asking who I was talking to, and I said my mother and my brothers. Okay, so now that was like a defense mechanism to let him know, I know what you guys are planning, and I'm already speaking out. I'm already telling the relevant. I'm already telling the people close to me this is what is happening. Because remember already, I had once given my story and said that I was actually taken to court for nothing, just because I needed to be intimidated to withdraw the death attempts investigations which I had launched in the industrial area police station, right? So now I will take you to the second statement. Remember the topic of today, how to get away with murder. Owing people to claim they are the ones responsible for the death. So now, I'll also now take you back again. How does it make sense that, for example, now in my case, my ex-husband goes and takes a loan and he owes somebody and he has refused to pay this person. And this person wakes up to decide that I will go after the wife and the daughter. I'll go after the wife and the daughter. Yet you already know very well that whatever amount he borrowed from you did not help me or my daughter. Or by the end of the day, you will actually be doing him a favor by eliminating me and my daughter. Remember, we are divorced. Remember, we are no longer a couple, neither are we married. Remember, he is not interested with us. Actually, he has done more damage than even owing you who he owes. So instead of going after him, why would you go after people that he doesn't even care about? You get? But now look at it this way. Owing people to claim they are the ones responsible for the death. Now, if at all the plan they are hatching is to eliminate me or my daughter, to eliminate us or to eliminate even me, because I'm actually the main target here. Even if I'm eliminated and the investigations are launched and they are all able to say we were in this place, you can prove that we were in this place. Remember, the whole of this thing is staged. So we were in this place, so we can't be the ones responsible. But I'm thinking it is the person I owe because he had threatened me that he is going to come after me. Come after you or come after the people you want them eliminated. Okay? So now, when the investigation are done and for sure it is confirmed that they were not there, then they will go after that innocent person they owe. And that person will go to prison. And now they will be able to have achieved what they needed to achieve, to eliminate you, to come after whatever they needed to come after. Maybe if it is property, maybe it is the remaining one property that I have or something like that. How to get away with murder. So that is number 2. And kindly take note of number 2. Number 3, staged robbery. Staged robbery is where robbers are sent. Actually, they have no interest of robbing you. But of course, because they have been paid to come and execute a murder, they are only coming to pretend they stole a phone, they stole little money, they stole nitty-gritties, but 100% they will leave you dead. And by the end of the day, once the investigations are done, of course, it was a an accident because robbers came and they robbed, and so this woman or this person was caught in the midst of the robbery. And guess what again? After the investigation, the real culprits will walk. Why? It was a robbery. But by the end of the day, they have executed what they wanted to achieve. And remember, this is in the union of marriage. These are people who maybe were living together, or even now they are divorced, separated. But this particular person has the mindset of wickedness. This person will not let this other person live in peace. So they will continue to do what is needed to eliminate this person. How to get away with murder. So I will take you to number 4. Road accidents, stage managed road accidents. Stage managed road accidents, I'll give you some 2 instances. At some point, I would drive and go park my car somewhere in town to go do my few errands. By the time you come back, you realize that the tires have been cut. Let me give you one instance. I used to go to a church on Baricho Road. I would drive the car, we get out of the car with my daughter, we go to church. And where we have parked the car, by the time we are leaving the church and coming outside now to get into the car, we realize that our tires have already been cut. Some of them, even the pressure is not enough to drive to the nearest petrol station, but we would still try to go to the nearest petrol station to refill and repair the tire, if it can be repaired. If it can't be repaired, now we just have to put the spare tire. So this kept happening, not only now cutting the tires, but also now when I go and park in town, you realize that the front tires, they have opened the nuts. So unawares, I'm driving out, then the vehicle is wobbling. By the time I realize where the voices and the noises are coming is when I drive into a petrol station and we get a mechanic to drive with him for him to now get to understand, oh, it's your tires. So by the time they go to check on the tires, all the nuts have been opened apart from the security one, the lock nut, the security one. So that was the only one that was supporting the 2 front tires. So you can fill the blanks. Why open the 2 front tires? For me to be caught up in the highway driving, and then now the tires come off and I'm involved in an accident. If I die in the process, it was an accident. That is one. The other one happened now when I started realizing that this is the trick that is being used now. I started parking my vehicle in a very secure place, and I'll tell you, like, one place I rarely used my car now, and anytime I feel that I needed to go and do many things that I need to carry many things, that's the only time I would drive. So I'll drive and go park where? In Cardinal Otunga's, the parking, the Catholic, the Holy Family Basilica parking, because it's very secure. So I think when they realized that they cannot be able to access the place, what happened? They decided now, but the last time before now I stopped. I remember the lock nut was broken. And I have all these evidences, taken even pictures of what used to happen. So the lock nut was broken, and that is now when it was my wake-up call. No more parking in funny places. Places that I know there. Sometimes I would park in places in people in offices, basements, assuming that there was CCTV, but still they would access. So this particular time when I said enough is enough, now I started parking in a more secure place, Holy Family Basilica. Of course, you pay more. So that is why now I could no longer use my vehicle just anyhowly. So when they realized that has happened, I remember now I'm driving, and in most cases when I'm going to see my mom, that time on Thika Superhighway, I realized that my car would be switched off. He had installed car tracks. I don't know whether they are car track or additional gadgets. Yeah. So what would happen that when you're driving, and especially when I'm coming back, it would be switched off. And when it switched off, my car would jack, almost causing an accident. One time there was an accident which was not very good. The second time, and then the third time is the one that almost took my life. Right? So in this all cases, if at all his plan succeeded. The investigation would have been conducted, traffic police would have come, the car would have been towed, the body could have been taken to the mortuary. What would be the result? She died of a tragic road accident. My condolence to my mother, to my siblings who would have mourned for me. Yeah? While the culprit walks. How to get away with murder. I will take you to the final one. Tormenting, intimidation, threats that give rise to stress-related diseases. I feel that I've not overly emphasized on this particular statement or this particular one. And I feel we have not had enough discussion in line with this matter. And indeed, it is my prayer that very soon we are going to have laws that can really get these culprits. These culprits can be arrested and jailed, regardless of she died of a stress-related disease. We all know stress, where stress came from. I'll give you incidences like one time I suffered almost a mild stroke. And I remember even during that time, being tormented never ceased. If you're being intimidated, it would actually aggravate, especially when I'm not feeling well. I remember there's a time that I was actually going to see my doctor. And that time I was having consistent migraines that never go away. So I remember when I was leaving my house, I only had 2,000, and it was only him because he would go through my bag, he would check my phone. I mean, he would check anything. And even where I'm going, I have to explain myself and even sometimes give the routine that I'm going to follow. So this time he knew very well I was not feeling very well. Of course, stress-related diseases. I have suffered of heart issues, panic attacks, hypertension. There's a time I was put on medication for 2 weeks because of hypertension, and migraines that never go away. And I'm grateful to my two friends back then, Adam and Elizabeth. I remember that time it's Adam. It's actually both of them who discovered every time they're calling me, I'm not able to breathe. I get very tired. I could not do much. I was breathless all the time, and that is the time now when my heart started really bringing a lot of issues. It went to an extent when now I started even developing those pains. And there's even a time when because I was still married to him, I began to, I actually got an attack, a heart attack. And when he was rushing me to hospital, he was actually the one telling me what to do. So he was telling me, I know I watched that you're supposed to cough. Can you cough? Can you cough? Because that is, all those signs are the signs of a heart attack. But remember, that was the second time. So I knew how the symptoms were starting. Yeah. So this time now, when I was going, remember, I'm not feeling well. So I'm driving myself to see my doctor. So I have left the house. I've explained myself the routine, whatever I'm going. And when I tell you the torments never stop. By the time I was leaving, I was already being abused and insulted for no reason. Abuse, insults, hitting, being beaten used to come from nowhere. It's not like you have done anything. It would just come from nowhere. So by the time I'm leaving, I actually remember I was in tears. Then I drove out. I went on my way to the hospital. I didn't even go very far. A traffic police followed me. He stopped me. Remember, this is a new car. The tires are new. Everything is beautiful. Yeah. And the traffic police is telling me, Madam, I was told to park in a petrol station. So I did. And when I parked, he told me, I know you have 2,000. Can you bring that money? Then I remembered, are you a prophet? Are you a witch? Are you a spirit? That you can know this is the only money I have in my wallet. And at the back of my head, it hit me immediately. By the time I was leaving, the person who checked my wallet was him, and he saw I only had 2,000, and it's because it was a balance I was going to pay at the clinic where I was going to the hospital. So now I told him, officer, I know, yes, it's true, I have this 2,000, but I cannot give you 2,000. I'm going to see a doctor. I'm actually going to the hospital. Can you just take 1,000? Initially, I was almost hesitant, but I used to fear them. So I told him, can you just take the 1,000 and leave me with this 1,000? I can pay the doctor later the balance. And then I remember him telling me that if you resist, I will just nitakuandikia, because I was speaking in Swahili, nitakuandikia mashtaka. And remember, I've been from that journey. I know how that journey ends. I know how stressful and how, yeah, I know that route very well. So by the end of the day, I parted, he agreed, and I actually started like almost crying. And then he told me, spendi machozi ya mwanamke, I don't like tears of a woman. Can you bring that to 1,000 then? And I gave him the 1,000 and I drove off and I went to hospital. So by the time I was seated to see the doctor, I remember that, I don't know whether I shared with a lady I used to talk with in that clinic, but I was not even in a position to talk because I was really angry and I was actually in tears because I cried the whole way going to see the doctor. And I was like, when will this torment come to an end? So when When I tell you that the torments never stop, remember the topic of today, how to get away with murder. I have taken the measures of tormenting you so that you can die of stress-related diseases. So my end game is to torment you as much as I can until your body will give in. And when you die, it will be our condolence because you died of a disease. You didn't die. Nobody killed you. Nobody will go to prison. You died of a disease. So this torment will not cease because you are sick. This torment, being tormented, being intimidated, even being beaten, will not stop even when you're sick. So the torment will continue. They actually multiply so that you can give up. And remember, when you're not feeling well, it's very easy to give up. When you're not feeling well, you will say, enough is enough. You will not allow your body to fight the disease. You will even be wondering, why am I fighting? For what? It's okay, let me just die. You know? And this is the end game of these murderers. Because the topic of today, we are dealing with killers. We are dealing with murderers. This is how to get away with murder. This is no longer your spouse now. Yes, legally, he is your spouse. He married you. You are living with him. But he is a killer. So, as I conclude on this topic, I hope that some of us, and you know, there are many people who live in ignorance and a lot of naivety. And remember, this kind of discussion, you rarely hear any married woman or man talking about it, and especially men even who have gone through this. Even their own spouses, even wives have even planned their death. You've watched those things happen now. Nowadays, they're coming out. Nobody is ready to sit down and really analyze as it is. And so by the end of the day, these victims will wind up dying, and condolences will be said and passed and contributions will be done, but that will be the end of these people. So it is my prayer that today you have learned something. For them who did not know that these things happen, these things really happen. I have not really given so much of details because I really wanted to stay in the topic of today and in point forms. But I needed you to understand that truly these things do happen. Truly there are reasons, there are people who are actually hanging by the thread because some of them do not even know how to get out of it. Because remember, this kind of marriages, majority and especially women are living in fear. I just mentioned that I was forever tracked. My car was tracked. I feel my phone was tracked because every time I woke up, you know the way you wake up from your office seat a phone call will come. Where are you? When you go anywhere, remember there was a time I gave the story about when I visited FIDA. I left my phones, I didn't take my car, I took a cab, I left all my phones, I went to FIDA, I reported, I said everything that I needed help about. Unfortunately, I didn't get the help because they told me to self-represent myself, and looking at who I'm up against, I couldn't. So what happened? By the time I'm getting a cab back to my office, I'm getting back to the office and the phone call comes, is like, where were you? And I could not even answer because the phone disconnected. The next thing, the person is coming to the office and starting his wars, his insults from the office. Yeah, this is evening, we are about to go, he comes and he starts fighting you. Remember, my staff have already left. Some of them used to witness, but this particular one, they did not witness. But now, I was shocked that even the statement I had written in FIDA, whatever else I had highlighted in FIDA, he knew. So, when you are looking at the level of fear that you have been subjected into, is real. You are afraid to seek help, he will know. You are afraid to go even to the toilet, he knows when you are going to the toilet. Leave alone when you are going out to look for help. You are afraid to talk to anybody because you don't know who this person can be corrupted, can be bought with money and spill all the beans of what you are asking for. So by the time these people get the help that they really need, yeah, some of them never leave to get the help. They tried, they were really trying to get out, but they could not get out because they did not per se arrive into the destination of where they could have gotten the help. So by the end of the day, they wound up dying this way. And when they die, we will bury them. And nothing will happen to the culprits because there is no sufficient evidence. And when you look at the cases the way I have presented them, where are the evidences? How are we going to bring to book these people? Staging insanity. It is because I owed somebody, so I believe that person killed the person. Staged robbery. Staged road accidents. Tormenting. Stress-related diseases. Where are you legally going to get these people? How are they going to be brought to book? Like today, even if I wake up and I have those photos of what used to happen to those vehicles, of which even when I was going to the police station and taking the OBs, I have all those OBs, but nothing happened. Yes, those tires, they were being removed. Even if I go say that he was doing it because he wants to kill me, can you prove he wanted to kill you? Can you prove he's the one? Did you get him? Have you taken a video of him cutting the tires? But the tires have been cut. Does it mean I was being followed by ghosts? Does it mean ghosts have all of a sudden become human beings who are coming to cut tires and to open, to open the lock nuts of the tires? All these things. And by the end of the day, when you report to him, he will ask you, who are you? Who do you think you are? That everybody is following you to kill you. And by the end of the day, remember, you have evidence with a judgment from the court of law. When you went to have this particular person investigated, he physically, with a girlfriend, showed up in another police station and paid with your money for you to be intimidated to withdraw your death threats investigations. You have that in record. But still, by the end of the day, this culprit will never be brought to book. How to get away with murder, right? So I hope that we have learned something new today. I hope those who don't know that this happens, you have learned. I know maybe some of you know about staged road accidents. Yeah, people do kill for money, property and all. But now you can see the mindset and the planning that comes into it to be able to execute, and these people walk free. So for those who are currently in this kind of unions of marriage, time has come to start working to save your life. Your life matters. You are important, and especially if you are a mother or a father and you have children, those children still need you alive. So time has come to be strategic. Time has come for you to now start thinking hard on how you're going to escape these unions of marriage, right? And because I will say, as it is in the Bible, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. I've given you the knowledge with my own story. Remember, these are my truths. My truths, you can never get them out from me. Whatever you say or you think, these are my truths because I lived through them. My daughter lived through them. You see? So these truths, I hope they will liberate you. These truths, I hope they will be a wake-up call for you. This truth will be able to change the systems in this republic that are not working. And especially the legal, the laws. I pray that a day is coming that we are able to execute judgment. And this kind of people, vicious entities, killers, can be brought to justice without tormenting the victims or without years of investigations or unending years. This thing is in court forever. It is indeed my prayer that very soon, because of 1, 2, 3 people speaking out, because for me this is the much I can do, to lend a hand, to bring change, and to see the positive results that we need to see, especially we violated women and even men, that one day soon there will be laws, there will be institutions that are working to end this behavior. And one day soon I pray that we will come back and smile and say there is no more how to get away with murder. Because whichever way you attempt, you will be caught. Whichever plan you think you're very wise, you will not get away with it. Because there are systems in place that can put an utter end to this. So until next time, keep supporting us by watching, by liking, by commenting, by sharing. And for the new family members, kindly support us by subscribing. We also have a pay bill that you can also support us. It will go a long way in supporting us. And especially, I'm on the journey of recovery. So your support is greatly needed. Kindly support us. And until next time, God's blessings.